touching on medication because some of you may, or some of your classmates, some of the people doing this course may go on to do things like nursing. So it might be nursing in a seniors home, nursing in paediatric care, palliative care, whatever kind of nursing it might be. And this is something you actually need to have a little bit of a basic understanding of before you even hit the university degrees that cover this stuff. Okay? We do have access to free and low cost medications. Alright, we have our pharmaceutical benefits scheme, the PBS, which makes sure that life-saving drugs don't cost us huge amounts of money. So we're pretty lucky here in Australia. Yes, but
Would you like us to write that down?
you don't have to write this down
Okay.
because this is on the PowerPoint.
Oh,
So you'll have access to this when I post the PowerPoint.
whenever you want.
Yeah, so hopefully by the end of tomorrow you'll have it. Okay? When it is prescribed though, this is the important bit for us. This is the important bit for us. When it is prescribed, there's an amount per dose. So a dose of medicine, the whole dose isn't the actual drug itself. It's diluted to a point to make it safe for us. Alright? Frequency of the dosage for different medications and the actual level of dosages for those medications differ depending on the strength. Alright? They all need to be calculated. Other considerations are the purpose, so what is the drug actually for? Who is actually using it? So is it a young person, an older person, a fit and healthy person? Sometimes it's even based on male and female. All that has to be considered, and how long you're actually going to be taking it for. Because there are some drugs and some medications out there that you don't want to be taking for a long time. Like even Panadol that you get off the shelf at Woolies will actually have, if your symptoms are lasting longer than I think it's about 3 days, you need to go and see a doctor. Alright, don't be on taking the Panadol for weeks at a time. Right, because it's not good to be doing that for your body. For us though, we're going to be worried about this bit. Okay? We're worried about this bit at the bottom. We're worried about things being expressed as mass per volume. Right? So mass per volume. So 5 grams in 10 milliliters is a mass per volume. Okay? That's what we want to talk about in our calculations. Okay? So we're talking about mass of a drug in the volume of the dose. Does that make sense? Cool. Alright, this bit you can write down. First example. The concentration of a particular medicine is given as 100 milligrams. 100 milligrams per 50 milliliters. What is this rate? Grams per milliliters. Okay? That's what we're going to work out. What do you think I might do first? Guys, what do you think I might do first? What have I done first in the past?
The numbers.
A formula. I've written a formula down, haven't I? So let's create a formula. We know that we've got 100 milligrams for every 50 milliliters. Alright, 100 milligrams for every 50 milliliters. We can translate that into a calculation by going 100 milligrams divided by 50 milliliters. Okay? 100 milligrams divided by 50 milliliters. I get that. So now I've got 2 milligrams per milliliter. 2 milligrams per milliliter. Because what I want grams per milliliter. So I've got one more calculation to do. I need to change milligrams to grams. What does the prefix milli mean?
Million. Just joking.
It's to do, so it's there's 1,000, but we're going smaller in 1,000. So kilo goes bigger in 1,000. Milli
Go smaller.
goes smaller by 1,000. So we're going to do that. So we're going small by 1,000. So we've gone 3 decimal places because there's 3 zeros in 1,000. 3 decimal places to get grams per milliliter. Okay? So we've worked out, we've taken what our concentration is. We've worked out what it is in a single milliliter. Now we know what the grams are per milliliter because that's what we get. And what have we done in all of our other questions? We've given it a sentence. Alright, so we've got 0.002 grams per milliliter. That's per milliliter. Okay, second example. This one's going to take a bit of writing. Second example. Formula used to change the dosage given in a tablet. Alright, has the equivalent concentration in liquid form. So they have an equivalency. Yeah, the volume required in milliliters. Strength required over the stock strength times the volume. Make sure you've written all that down, and then there's our question here. Make sure you get that written down too. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. Our question here is about Joseph, young Joe. He has been prescribed 1,000 milligrams of a mild painkiller. Alright, we're talking mild. We're talking, he's probably bought over the counter here. Medication available contains 100 milligrams per 5 milliliters. How much medication should Joseph actually be given? Alright, so he needs 1,000 milligrams of it. The concentration and availability is 100 milligrams for every 5 mils. What do you think we might do first?
Solution. Do the equation.
The equation or the formula.
5 mil.
Yeah? So the volume required. This is what we're being asked, in this question. How much should he actually get given? That's what we're being asked. The strength required. Well, there's our strength required. The stock strength. Well, that's this. Times the volume of stock.
I'm smart.
That's this one. Okay? So what do I do now?
You write it all in the book.
Write it all in. Okay, so the strength required is 1,000. The stock strength is the 100. Volume of the stock is 5. Alright, so we've got all that out of the question. The question has given us all that information.
So it's 50.
Alright. So we have 1,000 over 100 times 5. Now we can go all through that and make that 5 over 1 and make that 5,000 over 100. We don't need to do all that because it's 50. Alright?
Too good.
It's 50 milliliters. And as always, chuck a bit of a sentence at the end just to make sure that we are on top of it and we know what we're actually talking about. Because one of the things that is important, particularly for this course, is that we relate our answers back to our question. So our question is how much medication should he be given? Well, medication required is 50 milliliters. Okay? So we relate everything back.
Do we write this down?
Don't need to write this down. This table is in the textbook. It's also in the PowerPoint, obviously, that you will get in the next day or two. These are the 3 different rules.
We're writing that.
These are the 3 different rules. You don't need to write it. That are used to calculate dosages for children and infants. Because children, obviously being smaller, obviously being less developed, have different requirements for the medication. So we need to work out how to keep them safe while also helping them get healthy, right? So if we've got a child who is between 1 and 2, we will often use this rule here, Fry's rule. 1 to 12 years, that's going to be Young's rule, and children just in general is Clark's rule. So they all should come out to around about the same sort of response to a question, okay? Depending on the information that you've got. If you go to your Panadol box or your Nurofen box or whatever, it will actually have on the back of it written dosage adult, dosage child 1 to 12. Or it might have 3 to 12, and it might have something there saying under 3 shouldn't take anymore. Okay? So that's where this has all come from. Again, this is in the text. Should be okay with that. Alright. Here's our example. I'll give you a few minutes to write that down. It's got a bit of writing to it as well. Okay, so here's our example. Young's rule, and not my rule, but Young's rule, is used to prescribe medicine for infants. Formula is D equals YA over Y plus 12. D being the dosage, Y the infant's age in years, and A is the adult dosage. Okay? What is the dosage for a 3-year-old if the adult dosage is 50 milligrams? So, I'm sure you're going to be sick of hearing and saying this. What we're going to do first?
The equation.
The equation.
Can't think of what else it's called. What's the other word for it?
Formula.
Always forget it.
Equation or formula? Always start there. Always start there. Easy as, right? I'm going to put in what is the infant's age for Y?
3.
3. And the dosage is 50 milligrams. So we've got 3 times 50 because it's 3A. And 3 plus 12 because it's Y plus 12. So the age plus 12. We're there. We can work out from there straight away to get to an answer, or we can do this step. So 3 lots of 50 is 150. 3 plus 12 is 15. Which then gets us to what answer? 10 milligrams. What am I going to do last?
The therefore thing.
The therefore thing, I'm going to relate my answer back to my question. Child's dosage is 10 milligrams.